Well, good morning. It's January 10th, I believe, Wednesday morning. And yesterday the ground was covered with snow. Today, not so much. So yeah, I'm just out here on a prayer walk, and there is something I want to talk to you about. First, I'll show you the ground here. This was all snow yesterday. Yeah, look at all these Christmas trees. Yeah, look at all this water back here. It's from the rain and the snow. All right, well, we're indoors now, and as you can see, it's nighttime, and I want to talk to you about something tonight that kind of goes with the last video I uploaded. I uploaded a couple days ago a video where I shared my verse for the year, and you may have heard that and thought, if you watched that video, you might have thought, wait a second, did he just pick for a verse for the year? A verse that is about locusts? And the answer to that is, well, kind of, a little bit, yes. The verse is Joel 2:25, and it does mention locusts. It says this, "Then I will make up to you for the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the creeping locust, the stripping locust, and the gnawing locust, my great army which I sent among you." Now, obviously, there you have it. It mentions locusts at least 4 times in that verse. But there is a reason why I love that verse. And obviously, as you can guess, there is a backstory to that verse. This verse was a promise given to the people of Judah, the nation of Judah. There had been a massive invasion of locusts, and the land had been stripped of every green thing. All vegetation had been destroyed. And this brought about severe economic consequences for the nation, and they were left in a very weak position. We're told in the book of Joel that it had to do with sin. They were being judged for sin. They were being disciplined. It doesn't get too specific about the sin, but that's at least the backstory of what's going on. And they are being called to repent. And God begins to describe in chapter 2 what will happen if they do repent. And there's a series of verses where God describes what he is ready and willing to do, and it's very reassuring. As soon as they do repent, it will initiate some wonderful things for the nation of Judah. 4 quick things about this verse. Number 1, if God disciplines us, he does it in love. He always does. He does everything he does in love. And he disciplined Judah in love. And again, if and when he does discipline us, rest assured, it's done in love. Second of all, God can't wait to bless his children. You really see that in this little section of Joel chapter 2. And it all starts, that section kind of starts in verse 18. After having called the people of Judah to repent, God immediately begins to describe what he will begin to do at that point. And there's a little word in verse 18. It's the word then. Then the Lord will will be zealous for his land and will have pity on his people. It kind of makes me think of a parent, who doesn't want to discipline their child, but they love their child, and they know that there's a need for correction because they love their child. They love their child enough to do what parents have to do sometimes, and they discipline their child. And as soon as it becomes evident that the child has responded to the correction and received the lesson, and they show some true contrition and a change of heart, and once that becomes evident, then that parent is ready to bless that child and kind of make it up to them. They didn't want to discipline them, but they kind of want to show that child that even though that was a painful experience, they are still very deeply loved. And I think of, I heard a story a guy was telling recently when he was a young person. Now he's got children of his own now, but when he was I forget how old, he was in school. He had done something wrong in school, gotten in trouble. When his parents found out about it, not only had the school put some consequences in place, but now the parents added to those, and they decided that to teach their child a lesson, he would have to miss out on a class field trip to Fenway Park to see the Boston Red Sox. And he had been so looking forward to that field trip. It was a devastating thing to have to miss out on that. But they loved their child, and correction was necessary. They knew they had to discipline their child, and it had to be serious. It had to be painful. And, well, this young person, of course, like I said, now he's a little older and has children of his own. But at the time, he really did show a real change of heart. He was not just sorry that he had been caught, and not just sorry that he had missed out on this field trip. As it turned out, he really, really did see and sort of embrace the error of his ways and had a genuine change of heart, and actually a very drastically so, a change of heart. And so his father decided that eventually he was so pleased with the attitude of his son, he decided they would take their own trip to Fenway Park. And not only did they go to a baseball game, now the field trip was just to see a game and come back. They did the behind-the-scenes tour. Now, Fenway Park's a famous ballpark with a lot of history, and they have a behind-the-scenes kind of a tour, and it's supposedly very good. I've never done it, but this person said it was something he'll never forget, doing that behind-the-scenes thing with his father, just the two of them, and then seeing the game. And then on the way back, they did a couple other fun things. They did way more than the field trip would have done. And that father kind of made it up to the son. That's how God is. It breaks his heart to have to discipline his children, but he loves his children. And he has done that to Judah. They've been severely disciplined, but he says, then I will make up for you the years that you've lost. Now that kind of leads to this last thought, and that is that God can turn back time. There had been a time frame where all of the vegetation and all of the crops in Judah were being destroyed by locusts, and they were not producing any fruit. And God is promising to them there that he will cause a season of increased fruitfulness to occur. And it's going to exceed all of the losses that they have sustained in the previous season, however long that was. God promised to compensate them for their setbacks. In fact, that's exactly the word that is used in verse 25, a word that can be translated compensate. I will compensate you for the years that you've lost. If you've suffered losses and setbacks, take heart. God is an amazing God. He is a merciful God, and he is a powerful God. He wants to compensate you for your losses, and he is able to. And God can initiate a season of fruitfulness in your life, which will far exceed any fruitlessness that you've experienced. He can turn back time. He can make up for you for the years that you've lost. And God grants new beginnings. Maybe you've thought of some things in your life that you kind of wish you could go back and do over. And maybe you're thinking of some things, man, I wish I could have done it God's way. I would do it differently. I would do it God's way. Well, you can start today. God grants new beginnings. That's what he's offering. He wants to make it up to you. He wants to turn back time. I hope this is an encouragement to you. God bless. Bye-bye.